Shalom Aleichem is on page number 5. And as we've said many times, the Shalom Aleichem originated in people's homes and eventually was such a popular piece that it migrated from home into synagogue. And many synagogues sing Shalom Aleichem in one way or another during the Friday evening service. It's a way of merging our homes, which are individual, and our synagogue, which is shared. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 11. L'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'Adonai. L'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, v'izmira naria lo. L'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'Adonai. L'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'chun eranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, bizmiro naria lo. On the English side, let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. On the bottom of page 12. Arba'im shana kut v'dor v'almarm to'e levavhem v'hem lo yidu drachai asher nishpati v'apim yavun el menuchati. And on page 14, one little line of Hebrew. On page 14, it's the little red arrow. Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yeramayam, 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 Omalo, Yeramayam, 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 Omalo, Yeramayam, 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 Omalo, Yeramayam, 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 Omalo, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, Yesmechu Hashamayim, V'tzagel haaretz. That little melody is celebrating that little English stanza on page 14. The heavens shall be glad, and the earth rejoice. The sea and its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. And we have a song here, a song sheet. It's a short piece. It's one stanza. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayech. This is from a phrase in the book of Psalms. Yehi shalom. We all know what shalom means. Yehi means may there be. May there be shalom b'chelech. Chelech means the walls of your home. May the walls of your home be walls of shalom. And shalva, when I was a teenager, I liked the word shalva because it rhymed with halva, and it reminded me of halava. Shalva is the Hebrew word for tranquility, but you'll never forget it now because it rhymes with halava. Shalva means tranquility. May there be tranquility in our palaces. So a palace is a home that has a nuance of tranquility. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach.
Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Yehi shalom b'chelech, shalva be'armenotayach. Nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, nay.
May our prayers go forth, and may shalom be ever present within the walls of all of our homes. Page 21. Havu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai kavod va'os, Havu Ladonai kavod shemo, Hishtachavu Ladonai b'hadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzeh halvanon, Vayarkinem kemo egel Levanon, Vesiryon kemo ven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzev lahavot eish, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachol el ayalot, vayechesov ye'arot, uvecholo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai os liamo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo vashalom. If you look at the very last line, it's God will bless the nation with peace. The line above that, Adonai os lamo yiten, God gives strength to his nation. If you look at the second line at the top, it's Havul Adonai Kvavos. Let us grant and sing and exalt God with strength. This psalm stands out because there's a double message of strength. One is the strength that we already have, a sense of confidence. And the other is a sense of strength that we're seeking. Strength associated with peace. There are different types of strength in our lives, different kinds of strength that we need. But we have both, confidence and peace. We have a song sheet. Rick wrecked, Anachnu mevorachim, Anachnu mevorachim. The song is called Anachnu mevorachim, Bilvavot. Bilvavot means hearts. Anachnu mevorachim. We are blessed because our hearts are hearts ohavim, hearts that give forth love. We are blessed. May we be blessed to have hearts filled of love, hearts that are constructed of love. So our Jewish aspiration is to have our ejection fraction based upon love. What do you think about that, cardiologists in the room? Nachnu baruchim b'vavot ohavim.
Borachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Anachnu, Borachim, Levavot, Ohavim. We are blessed to have hands to hold each other. We are blessed to have eyes to see the good in the world. We are blessed to have ears to hear the words of love. Anachnu, Borachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Anachnu, Borachim, Levavot, Ohavim. We are blessed to have time to understand.
We are blessed to have choice, to live where we want to live. We are blessed to have voices to sing this song of Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim. We are blessed to have life, live in freedom. We are blessed to have hearts to love each other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim, Nachnu, Vorachim, Levavot, Ohavim.
And on page 23, L'Charodi, the first 3 stanzas, and then the concluding stanza by itself, Bowie, on page 25. We haven't sung this melody in a while.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We are seated. Turning to page 27. Let's look at the first stanza in the English on page 27. In the Siddur, we're studying tonight. First stanza on 27, the Psalm for Shabbat, first stanza. It is good to thank you, Adonai. It is good to sing your name, Most High. It is good to proclaim your love at daybreak and to proclaim your faithfulness each night, which means, especially those last two phrases, the psalm has a goal for you and me to view time, not only as seconds ticking away to become minutes and hours, but time needs to be infused with something. And the hope of this psalm is that you and I, collectively and individually, infuse daytime and nighttime with gratitude. Gratefulness has to be incorporated into how we look at sunrise and sunset. Gratitude needs to be in the front and within our eyes as we look at the sky at dawn and dusk. Daytime and nighttime are more than just moments. Daytime and nighttime are opportunities for us to bring our gratitude into the physical world. That's the Psalm for Shabbat in a nutshell. The first bracha on page 39b on the English side. The first bracha, it's the bottom of the page, page 39b. Oh, we got a minion. Thank you. Baruch Hu, we rise. Page 39b. Thank you. 39b. Forgot about me. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Hanabarach Elam bled. And we are seated. Baruch Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space. You completed your work of creation on the seventh day, calling this day from one evening to the next the holy Shabbat, and gave this day of rest in all its holiness to your people Israel, creator of day and night, ruling light before darkness, darkness from light, making day pass and bringing on the evening, distinguishing day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chalein olam bled. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. On page number 40, on the English side, skipping the first 3 lines on the English side. Therefore, Adonai our God, as we lie down and as we rise up, we shall speak of your laws, rejoicing in the words of your Torah and in your mitzvot forever and ever. For they are our life and the fullness of our days, and on them we shall meditate day and night. Do not ever withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel. V'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu l'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kol Masal Aved. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha yom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha v'lechtecha b'derech V'shach b'cha v'kumecha U'geshartam lo ta'al yadecha V'hayu letotafot b'ninecha U'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha U'v'sharecha. A moment or two of silence, perhaps on page 42. Oh. Adonai Elohechem emet. Please turn to the top of page 44, the first little red arrow. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'Miryamu v'nei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha po'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh norati lot osefele malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokea yam lifnei Moshe zeli anu v'yamru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar, Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalo mi'ar chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Gal Yisrael. On page 45 on the English side, at the top stanza halfway down. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 46. V'shamero b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam, yai-dai-dai b'nei oven b'nei Yisrael, oti li'olam, ki sheshet yamim hasadonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashivim Shabbat vayinafash uvayom hashivi Shabbat vayinafash Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'b'divrei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'gala Obizman kariv v'imero amen Yeshmei Rabbah mevarach Le'olam li'olmei almayam Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yinasei v'yiradar v'yitalal Shemei d'kedusha brechu Le'elam kol b'chata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran mi'olma v'imiru amen. Before we rise, look at page 47, which we say all the time, but we have to continue to pay attention to the words and the messages here. Page 47. It's the fourth line up from the bottom on the Hebrew side. We'll translate V'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, which means who remembers the loving deeds of our ancestors. God is defined as paying attention to the deeds of our ancestors which made a difference. That's what God has defined for us in this little section of the prayer. It's different than saying God creates galaxies or God establishes DNA. God remembers the deeds that mattered, that were done by your ancestors with love. That attaches the memory of your ancestors to God because of how they lived and how they loved. It makes it much more gentle, much more intimate. Let's hold on to that metaphor as we say our silent prayer tonight. We rise to the traditional text, page 47 to 52, or a few moments of private thought. Earlier this week, Sunday after Sunday school and Hebrew school lessons, Minette and I drove to Nashville just for a few days to see our brand new grandson, Reese, who will be 6 weeks old tomorrow. And it had been 5 weeks, 6 hours, 14 minutes, and 12 seconds since we last held the baby, but who's counting? And we just had a chance to hold this little one. And when you hold a baby, at least I think when Minette hold the baby, our grandson, we see a future. And we begin to anticipate not just days or weeks, but years and decades down the road. What will the future be like? And I imagine that other people have that same perspective when they hold a baby. And every once in a while we'll take turns, and then we put him down on the play quilt, and then he'd be nursed and changed, and we did it over and over again. And after about a day and a half, Aaron happened to mention to Minette that there's an Israeli shop that opened in what I would call the outskirts of Nashville. Do you want to go? We said sure, because we'd had our fill of holding the baby for at least for those span of minutes. And so we drove to the outskirts, Bellevue, outside Nashville, and we came to this little strip mall and walked inside this Israeli-owned shop, smaller than this room. And we walked in, and I saw mezuzah on the door, so of course I reached up and kissed it, and I happened to have my yarmulke on. And I heard shalom as Minette was walking in behind me, and we turned and said shalom, and I saw a very enthusiastic young woman seated at this chair. Maybe there are 6 chairs in this little place. A miniature cafe. You can get a hummus, a falafel, a baba ganoush, a sandwich, a few odds and ends, some salads. And so I responded in Hebrew, and she got very excited, and we began to chuckle and laugh and giggle and talk rapid-fire Hebrew. And it was a mishmash of Hebrew and English. And then we began to poke around a little bit. And on the shelves and on the trays, we saw a lot of typical Israeli products. The chocolate spread and canned items and packaged goods. And over here there's a small freezer case, and there's frozen chicken schnitzel written in Hebrew. And wherever you look, labels are in Hebrew, and there's some small Israeli flags decorating one of the edges of the countertops. So Minette's shopping and looking, and I'm talking to this woman, and I asked, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "We've been here for about 4 months." I said, "Why are you here? Are there that many Israelis here?" She said, "There are not that many Israelis. We think maybe about 400 in Metro Nashville, which is ranging 750,000 in population. About 400, estimated 10,000 Jews." And she said, "I don't have a goal to be wealthy. My goal is to give people a sense of home." When you walk into this place, you see, you experience, you smell, and you taste things of home. That's what I want. And I asked her some more, and she said, "I don't care if you're Orthodox, conservative, Reform, if you go to a synagogue, if you go to the Jewish Community Center or not. I want you to have a place of being at home." And I asked, "What's it like? Is there tension?" And she said, "Wherever Jews go, there's always tension." She said, "I live in tension." I asked, "How about here?" She said, "Here we've not had any problems here in Nashville. There have been no rallies. There have been no demonstrations. There's been no expression of hostility. There's been no loud vocal articulation. Things seem good in Nashville and in this suburb, Bellevue, Tennessee." She said, "But wherever people live as Jews, there can be tension. I want people to have a place where they can come." And so we're walking and schmoozing and talking, but that's looking at items. And we look at the breakfast, and she said, "Here, have one." And then we're talking some more. And I was over here looking at something. And she says, "Here, Minette, have a sufganiyah," because it's almost Hanukkah. And so she gave us one breakfast. We bought 10. Okay, it's all right. It's a good deal. And what would have been a 15-minute shopping experience took an hour and a quarter, maybe an hour and a half, because we were schmoozing, we were talking, we were laughing. A mishmash of Hebrew and English. Behind the cash register on this wall, there's some photographs. Perhaps 30, 35 photographs, maybe even 40. I didn't do a count, but picture a wall filled with photos. The name above the photographs is Nova. She opened the store 4 months ago. She named it Nova in loving memory of the Nova Festival. Every photo on that wall is a photo of an Israeli who has a connection in Nashville. You walk into a door, you kiss a mezuzah, you see Israeli flags, somebody says shalom, offers you a sufganiyah, all to make this a sense of home. And then as we're leaving, she says, this is Nova, and every picture on that wall, which is of somebody who was destroyed by Hamas, is connected to somebody here in Nashville. And that's home. Home is a place where we feel connections. Home is a place of tastes and smells and laughter and shared stories and newly acquired collective memory. Home is a place where you walk in and for a moment you can leave the sense of being other or a minority behind, because everybody standing in that place understands what it means to stand in that place. We walked out of that place, Nova, in a strip mall in Bellevue, Tennessee. And I said to Minette, I feel like we have new friends. It would have been a 15-minute shopping experience, because how long does it take to walk around, pick up this item, put it in a little basket and check out? But we did more than that. And we gained more. And I like to think that she gained something too by meeting with us and learning about Jewish people from Mobile, Alabama, who had come to visit a grandson, but were here because we felt at home. That's what we have. We as Jews, wherever we are, however we travel and visit, when we walk into a room, we're greeted by shalom, by familiar words, visuals, smells, and tastes. We give something of ourselves to the people there, and we draw strength from those people as well. May we continue to feel at home. May we grant our strength to others, other Jewish people who need to feel that sense of home. We rise to Eleno on page number 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye aratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz Umoshav yekaro b'shamayim mimal ushchinatu zo b'gavei meromim hu Eloheinu ein od Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato Kakatu Bitorato Vyodata Yom Vashevota Elavavecha Ki Adonai Hua Elohim Bashamayim Mimal Vial Haaretz Mitachat Enod. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, le'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yihye Adonai echad, Ushema echad. And in a moment, Kaddish is on page 58, and some remain standing, and some may choose to be seated at this time as we announce with great love your sites, names of people whom we've known and whom our shul has remembered for many years. And in this Shabbat, we remember with great love David Luderman, Rachel Ederzhinsky, Ria Liebeskind, Louise Leff, Shana Gittel Miller. And I wish to pause for a moment. I do not know Shana Gittel Miller, and I do not know her family. She died in 1881. And her name is recorded on a Yortzeit plaque. Her shul was established as a community of households in 1894. The first building was a house in 1911. The Contrary Street shul was built in 1912. I would imagine that Yortzeit plaques started going up after 1912. This woman died in 1881, according to the Yortzeit plaque that we have, which means that somebody, I imagine, during 1912 or later, wanted to memorialize an ancestor who died 40 years prior. So we don't know who this family is. But I want us to think about what it means that we are connected to a community that had somebody remembering generations before the community began. Shana Gittel Miller. We remember Sarah Berenti, Akiva Goldhar, Rebecca Mitchell, Bessie Mattis, Harry Cohen. Is that anybody from them? No. Milka Stein, Sam Linick, Edith Layden, Moshe Stein, Gwyn Dean, Dora Rosenthal, Abraham Mazel, William Abrams, Carol Worth, Emma Jett. We remember David Gordon. Are there any other names to mention today? Perhaps somebody at home has a name to share. We remember all those whose lives were stolen when Hamas attacked us all. Kaddish is on page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba. Amen. Be'olma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaye echon uv'yom echon uv'chaye dachol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zaman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mivarach la'olam olalmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'olma v'meru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Useh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We are seated. May we all continue to understand that each one of us is a force for shalom. Halavai. We'll conclude this evening with a song. It's entitled Hillel Song by Steve Brodsky and Sam Glazer, and it's based upon one of the teachings in a very famous collection of Talmudic messages known as Pirkei Avot. And the phrase here in the center of this page, B'makom she'ein anashim, is the message. Hillel Omer, Hishtadel lihiyot ish. Hillel says, in a place where there are no people, strive to be a human. We would say, if we were using Yiddish, in a place where there's not a mensch, be a mensch. Hillel didn't use that vocabulary because Yiddish hadn't been invented yet. But it's the same message. We need to be mentioned in the world wherever we are. Hillel song.
A long time ago, there lived a great teacher, Hillel was his name. People would ask him all kinds of questions, his wise answers brought him fame. Someone once asked, in a place that is evil, how are we supposed to behave? Hillel thought for a moment, he pondered the question, and this is the answer he gave. B'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim. Hillel Omer, Ishtadel lehiyot. Has two inclinations, for evil and for good. Hillel knew that it's not always easy to act the way we should. So we look to our parents, our teachers, our children, and we search for the answer inside. And in the struggle between what's right and what's wrong, we let this lesson be our guide. B'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim. Hillel Omer, Ishtadel lehiyot. Strive to be human. Make peace with your sister and brother. What is hateful to you, do not do to another. Not enough answers as we travel along the road. But if we remember the words of wise Hillel, we will always know which way to find ourselves in a place that is evil, and we don't know how to behave. If we stop for a moment and ponder the question, we'll remember the answer he gave. B'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim, b'makom she'ein anashim, Hillel omer ishtadel lehiyot, Hillel omer ishtadel lehiyot, Hillel omer ishtadel lehiyot.
Shabbat Shalom. We hope to see you at some point in the near future. You are part of our community. You're within our hearts. May God bless you. You know we love you. May you have shalom and bracha, peace and blessing. Shabbat Shalom.